Hi.
Hey Raquel,
Hi.
can you hear me okay? My mic died, of course,
Oh,
of
yeah,
all
no,
things, so I got to
no,
get
I
a
can
new mic,
hear
I
you
guess.
fine.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for taking some time. Are you over in Spain? Did I hear
I
that right?
am. I was gonna apologize for like the haphazard background, and I'm using like one lamp light. I'm studying abroad right now, so
Okay, because I
so
was like, you're over there studying, like you're not
yeah.
there for a vacation, and I'm not like
Mhm.
taking time out of your vacation
No, no,
schedule
no,
and all
no. I'm here for 5 months, so I have to continue working. I want to continue working, so
that. Okay,
I'm
well, that's
I'm
cool. So
here.
what are you studying over there then?
Really, truthfully, I couldn't even tell you because it doesn't really work the same as like my home institution. So I don't have to follow my major here. I kind of just picked courses I'm really interested in. So I'm like studying a lot about like mind and artificial intelligence right now, and then classic Spanish art, and I'm learning Spanish as well. So hopefully I'll be fluent when I get back. Um, yeah, the main thing is more just like the experience, like of being
Yeah,
thrust into a foreign country and then fending for myself.
so fun, hey?
Yeah, it's so fun. It's only been 1 week out here and I feel like I'm already picking up a lot of the
Oh, wow.
words a lot easier. And I don't think it's settled in. I'm gonna be here for 5 months, but I'm really, really excited. It's
And
really cool.
that's a pretty substantial chunk of time too. Like you'll be
Oh
there till
yeah.
almost like summer at this point.
Oh yeah. And then in the summer for like a month, I'm just gonna travel around Europe a little bit with some friends. So it's gonna be like 6 months away from home, which is the longest I've ever been nonstop, not in America, not with like my
Yeah,
family or anything. So I'm really excited though. I'm a traveler at heart. So this is like all of my dreams come true.
yeah, that's cool. Well, I guess we'll start with congratulating on your role, Sophia
Thank
Dexter,
you.
Original Sin. Like, how freaking cool was that to land that role? Like, t tell us how you got that role. Like, what are the steps? You go to the audition, you get callbacks.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that job?
Well, this one was actually pretty quick. I'm a student at LMU, so I'm a senior right now, but I had learned about I learned about the show basically through a class because a classmate of mine had announced that she had an audition to play Deb. And I was like, huh, like everybody's reaction, everybody was like, oh my God, they're making another Dexter, oh my God. And it was so like unanimous, like among the whole entire classroom that everyone knew the gravity of like the show and like what that means. And I actually didn't know. I was like, whoa, wait, that's pretty cool. And I hadn't reached out to my manager, my agent yet, because I didn't know what they were looking for. Like the girl who got called for Deb, she didn't look like me. So I was like, oh, I don't know if they even have a role for me. And then a week later, I got the audition. I did the audition. It was a self-tape. And then about a week and a half later, I was actually going to a premiere for my movie that came out this past year. And I had learned that I was going to be doing an in-person audition. So they asked for like a director's callback. And I was like, oh my God, like I haven't been to an in-person audition in a while because with COVID, everything's online now. So I was just really excited. I was like, oh, I
Oh,
can finally sit in the room. Like I could see the other actors and meet whoever I'm talking to, and I can show them my personality. And I was really excited. And I went in and immediately, I think upon being in the room and delivering the lines as Sophia and seeing the reactions, there was a really good feeling in my chest. So it was like I had a really good feeling about it, but you get good feelings in the industry and then you hear no and then you cry yourself to sleep. So
yeah, yeah.
I was like, I can't get my hopes
90%,
up.
97% of the time, like, yeah.
Exactly. Like it's always like that one yes out of the thousand no's that you get. But I knew that I was really happy to have met the people at the very least. And I actually got the call that I was pinned, I think a day or two later. So it was super, super fast. I knew they were going to start filming in June. And I got the role in May, I think,
Mm,
like like mid-May, which is like a quick turnaround. So I knew I would have to find out soon enough, and then I found out, and it still didn't feel real. And even filming it didn't feel real. Like even being announced on like the magazines and posting it didn't feel real until the show aired and people responded to it and responded to it well and found my accounts and like found my TikTok and I was like, wait, this
Yeah,
isn't just like my friends anymore. Like I was like kind of scared. And that's when it felt real. I was like, wait, okay. I'm on Dexter. Like even filming it, I was like, this is just really fun. This is just
that's
my work.
crazy. And like,
Yeah.
how long did it take for you to film all of your stuff for the role? Like, are
Yeah,
you there
the
every
filming.
day, or what's that like?
Well, I was fortunate enough because, oh, I don't know if I would say fortunate enough, but I was still a student. So that's why I'm saying I was fortunate enough because I want to finish college and I'm glad that I didn't have to leave. I kind of filmed a lot of the bulk of my scenes in summer. So there were some days or some weeks where I'd work like 4 hours in the, or not 4 hours, 4 days in the week, like 15-hour days. And I'd get like a bunch of stuff out and then I would be on hold for like 2 weeks and I'd get called back in for like another week full of filming and then on
Oh,
hold again so that by the time school started, I had maybe 3 filming days a month that were just really long filming days. But the whole process took about like 6 months, 7 months. Um, and I got the bulk of my stuff done in like June, July, August, early September, so that when October came, November, I was pretty much done.
that's super cool. So were you a drama nerd then in high school? Like,
Yes. Yes. I've
that's
been a theater kid since I learned how to walk, I think.
okay.
I was like, I don't know how many times I've said this because whenever people ask, I have to mention it, but I was definitely like in all the home videos, the most annoying kid who has to be in front of the camera, has to have the stage. I learned before I could read, I learned how to memorize. Like my mom would read me books and I'd memorize them and I would like read them back because I couldn't read, but I had a really good memory and I was always a performer and I loved reading. And I think that really, really attributes to like how much I love to take words off of a paper and bring it to life. And I never really did a lot of theater productions. I feel like I've never really went to a consistent school. I kind of was always leaving for acting, or becoming homeschooled or taking my GED test and leaving high school 2 years early. So I never had like a consistent school life where I could do productions with them. But this is my first school that I've been at for like 4 years or 3 years actually. But I've always been I'm a theater kid to the heart. I'm a theater kid not in practice, I say,
Hmm. How
but to
long
the
did you
bone.
get homeschooled for? I just talked to a girl named Elena Aaron, who's like a singer-songwriter here in Canada. And
Okay,
she
yeah.
mentioned that like she went to Berkeley, but like Berkeley was the first time she literally ever went to school.
Yeah.
Like how
I
long did
can
you get
relate to that.
homeschooled for?
I was in school every day until sixth grade.
Okay.
And I'm lucky because I had some friends already. I think I was given a good experience because I had friend groups that I would still like. I had a lot of cousins too. I never really felt isolated. I just didn't really go to school. I got schooled at home. So
Yeah.
sixth grade to eighth grade, I was homeschooled. And then freshman year of high school, the first semester, I went to a high school. Then my brother, he went to LA to play football, so he moved our family. And so when he moved our family, second semester of my freshman year of high school, I got homeschooled. Because I didn't find a school I really, really loved. And then sophomore year of high school, first semester, I went to Sierra Canyon, which is in the valley. And then sophomore year, second semester, COVID hit. So we all went home. And then when COVID hit, I was like, I'm just gonna take my CHESP, my GED. It'll make me legally 18 in the industry. I can get paid more, work more hours. Like I don't need an onset tutor. So when
Mm.
I did that, that was high school gone completely. And then my junior and senior year of high school, I did freshman and sophomore year of college all online.
No
So
kidding. Wow.
yeah, a consistent school I haven't really been at since sixth grade. So when I got into college at LMU, I transferred in as a sophomore. I I've been there since. This is my third year and my last year, and this is like the longest I've been at a school and created connections and kind of this like home institution since I was in sixth grade.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what were you watching then as a kid? Like what were you being influenced by? And like who were the actors and actresses and stuff that you really loved and kind of helped you get down the path?
Yeah, God, good question. I feel like every kid says the Disney channels, the Nickelodeons, and every girl, I can promise you every entertainer woman who looks like me, who grew up like me, we all loved Zendaya. Like
Yeah.
Zendaya, she was tall, I'm tall, and she was tall and she was unapologetic about it. And her role in Shake It Up, her character's name is Raquel. That's
Mm.
my name. So I was like, oh, she's speaking to me. We're basically best friends. Like I have to do what she does. Like she inspired me so much. And just like her journey, her like career path inspired me so much. I also have always been into like horror and thriller since I could remember. I used to make all my cousins sit in a circle and like practice like trying to connect to like our great grandmother, like just the weirdest stuff.
Love
So
it.
I've always watched like the Conjurings and like
Like
the
Ouija
Insidious.
board shit too? Like, would you go that far?
Okay.
Or
My parents never let me buy one of those because they don't play like that, but I
yeah.
did make one with my friends, which I don't think was real. I don't think it actually worked. I think they were moving it, but yes, like those type of those things. And I always made my cousins act in my own movies, but it was all horror movies. And I have a beautiful home in San Diego, so it really lent itself to the horror because there was a lot of dark corners. It was like Spanish themed, a lot of brick, a lot of statues. And so if I go on my phone, like I have to go to like on my iPhone like 3 or 2 or whatever the first iPhones were, I could find like my iMovies and it's just like a bunch of videos of like my cousins with like ketchup as blood. And like I took a lot of inspiration, not necessarily from the things I watched, but from the books I read, which was interesting. And just like
Like
the
what?
YouTube
What
videos,
what what kind of books were you reading? Like
everything,
King stuff or like what are you talking about?
every fantasy book. Like I'm huge into fantasy. I love world building. I love series. Like one of my favorite series is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. She's so good. And then I got more into like for example, I would go to a bookstore and then I would go to like the newspaper slash magazine section and then it'd be like top 20 most haunted places in the United States.
Like,
And I would
I'm
get
getting
that
that.
book.
I'll take
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that one. It was like a glowing light just beamed
Yeah.
around it. And my little like 12-year-old frame, it just had it, needed to have it. So I would get that and I go home and I go on YouTube and I would look up all these YouTube videos of these haunted places and people going and talking to like the ghosts. And then I would get inspiration and then I'd make a film around that. Or like I had found a lot of inspiration actually from like old times, which to me at 12 was like 1950s, 1960s. And I would have like I started writing dated pieces. Like when I was like 12 or 13, I found like my Gmail and there's like scripts of like dated like pieces and all the old beautiful gowns and it all revolved around this like older way of living that I was really enthralled in. And it
Oh,
didn't
no
help
shit.
yeah, my abuela and my abuelo, they would take us this place in San Diego called Old Town. And it's like this like it's one of like the first settlements basically in San Diego. So there's a bunch of old artifacts and it's like a lot of like Latino culture. And there's like this Whaley house, which is the haunted Whaley house. And I would take a lot of inspiration from what I found there. And I would take pictures and go home and I would like put it on my board and then I would write characters and assign my I have like so many cousins and my poor cousins I put them through hell. I would assign characters to all of them and they had to be a part of my movies.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
that's where
great.
I found a lot of inspiration, weirdly enough, was through writing, not really through a whole lot of films. I mean I watch Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. I watch movies my parents put on and YouTube videos of everything, but um I definitely didn't start getting really into film until I was like 14 or 15. And I found like I remember the first film that I wasn't really allowed to watch. So I locked my door and I watched it alone was Call Me by Your Name. And it
Okay.
changed my life. Like it just completely changed my brain chemistry. And I realized like, oh, this type of media is exactly what I want to do. Like this is my passion. I felt myself so drawn to like the way it was put together, the storyline, the music, like the shots. Like I found a lot of love in that.
That's great, right? Because you can start, and when you really get to know the medium, you can really start to pick it apart too, right? The way that
Yes.
it's shot, the way that there's silence, the way that there's like screaming, and like everything affects how you feel and take in a movie or TV shows or anything.
Yeah, I found myself the more I watched film and the more I did the profession that I do, and I had the privilege to be on sets, like really paying attention to the choices the directors would make and like why would we hold on that shot for that long and how just through like shots alone and like an underscore you can create an entire atmosphere that isn't dependent on the words the actors are saying. And that's what I loved so much about like my favorite production company is A24. I think that they're super unique, and I'm sure so many people say that, but I find myself so drawn to them because they don't follow a specific genre. And like I don't either. I don't really want to act in a specific genre, but because they are really committed to unique stories, but stories that are done so well. Like the script is done so well and the directors they have and like how it's put together, the music, it's always just done so beautifully. And it's what makes it so unique and so separate. Each thing is so separate because of the teams that are able to create. So I mean, I just get to play it, but I find so much love in movies and film when I can see the work that goes on behind the camera. And that's how I'm like, oh, that's stuff that I want to do because I can tell like that was done so well. That was done with so much creativity, so much collaboration, so much beauty, so much passion. So you
Oh, I
can
love
definitely
it.
see when
Uh,
something's created with passion.
that's so rad, super rad. So, what's your favorite horror movie then?
Ooh,
Or like a
okay.
franchise or whatever? Like,
I will say this is like, okay, my biggest like red flag is that I can't ever give favorites. Like if somebody's like, "What's your favorite song?" I'm like, oh, "Okay, so you want me to die?" Like I can't pick that. Like I will actually just like get frozen on the spot and just fall. Because it's like asking me to pick a favorite child. Like I don't know, but I do know growing up, this is like so like hopeless romantic of me. I loved the Conjuring movies because it was more than just horror. Like there was love involved
sure.
between Ed and Lorraine, and they've created such a I don't want to say the Conjuring movies, the Conjuring like franchise, which includes like Annabelle and like The Nun and the most recent one, The Devil All the Time. Or no, that's a different one. That's a different movie. It's like the most recent one that came out in the Conjuring universe, but all of those they all follow the same theme of like this family. And I loved that so much. When it comes to my favorite genre of horror, I love psychological thriller. I love movies like ever since I was like 14, I realized I want to make a movie one day that's kind of a coming of age movie, but underneath, you know there's something wrong. And that's kind of what plays at your mind, like the Midsummers and like the Hereditaries. Like it's not out front with its horror. It plays with you. It's like you sit there kind of with your mouth open the whole time, just trying to figure it out. Or like we need to talk about Kevin. Like scary, like
Yeah.
unsettling movies. I think that's where I find a lot of my love because horror doesn't scare me too much. Like the pop-outs, they don't really do too much. It's really hard for a horror movie to scare me,
Mm,
but the thrillers, they send me home with my mind thinking and dreaming of what I just witnessed and like anything I can dive into for like a week and try to figure out the meanings, I really love.
that's cool. So you'll get into directing, producing, and all that.
Yeah, I
That's
hope
so
so.
fun.
I want my own production company one day.
That's
So
so fun. Back to the ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts?
yes, of course I do. Like, I just don't like to call them ghosts. I like to say I think there's
Like
spirits, entities.
spirits? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
en
this
entities.
this door right here. This
Yeah.
one. Like a couple years ago, I'm watching a movie. It's like late, 11:30, 12 at night, and the door starts shaking.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
like, what the fuck? Like I'm the only one up. My wife is asleep, my kids are asleep,
Yeah.
and it took all of me to get up and like I bum rushed the door, right? Slammed it because thinking fully like somebody's in my studio.
The home. Yeah.
Nothing.
That's horrifying.
It
Like
scared the shit out of me.
that's horrifying. And my home in San Diego, I mean it's haunted. Like I say it and people are like, "Oh no, it's
Yeah,
not." And I mean it's not. I'm not afraid of it. I live
I'm
with
not
it.
afraid
Like
of that. Like my
like
house
yeah,
is haunted.
I live with it, and I think there's respect there. Like, I don't think that they're all like super malevolent spirits. Like, I think there's just a respect there that you have, but it definitely is, there's definitely something there. And I've had an experience kind of like yours where like you feel like somebody's in your home. Like, I've heard boot steps walking up the stairs when I'm home alone.
Like
And I've
what?
had to close the door and like barricade it
And
because I'm
like
like,
you
oh,
get like the
yeah,
chills
chills,
everywhere.
like the hairs on the
Like
back of your neck stand up. And it's just more about like I recognize you're there. I respect you. I don't claim any of this. Just move on. Like it's
yeah,
all good. I
yeah,
definitely believe that there's something else. There's so much we don't know.
yeah.
So much we don't know.
Fully agree. Like that's one of for me. It's one of those like I can go on YouTube and like really rabbit hole it through,
Yeah.
ghosts and spirits and like
Yeah.
even for me, aliens. Like I don't know about you, but like I will go down that hole and follow it for hours.
See, you're speaking to the choir right now because I am a firm believer of that as well. I don't know if they look like the little scary men that we think they look like with the big beady eyes, but like to believe that we're the only life forms in this entire
Right.
universe, galaxy, like the ever expanding cosmos, like there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way
Like
we
I've had
just have a.
hundreds and hundreds of guests over the years, and like most people believe that either we've been visited
Mhm.
or that even aliens live among us. Like
Or they're
people believe
here.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no clue. I just know that there's something else, and hopefully one day I'll find out, but maybe it's gonna be beyond my time.
Yeah. I never know. Could be coming.
You
Could be
never
coming.
know. It could happen tonight. So
It totally could happen. Oh, right now.
I'm gonna knock on wood for a
I'm
second.
curious about what you're binge watching. Like, of course, you make stuff for us to
Yeah.
watch, but like when you find time and you can set aside some time to watch stuff, what are you binge watching lately?
Okay, let me actually, that's such a good question. What do I binge? Okay, so funny enough, actually, I'll give you like a show that I just binge watched for like the third time again because I hate my mental health, but it's Normal People.
Okay.
Just watched that
Because I
again for
hate
like.
my health.
Yeah, because I don't want to be happy. That I was just doing that in class today. I just wrote an entire like A24 films that I want to watch when I was in class because I'm
Okay.
trying to get them all down. And I was watching After Sun. I need to finish that. But the next one I want to watch is Queer, really, really bad. I have my own comfort shows. Like I love that 70s show. I love Grey's
Yeah.
Anatomy. That one, the first 5 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, I'll watch over and over and over again. I
I love that
love
you
the.
call them comfort shows, by the way. Like so
Yeah,
well put. Like
they're so comforting
some,
because you've seen
yeah,
them before. You
it's
know what's
just
gonna
so
happen.
good,
But
right?
it's something that can just make you like, okay, like it's just
Yeah.
so good. And like the Maze Runner series is one of my
Yes.
comfort series. I love that series so much. The Divergent series, the Hunger Games. I watch the Hunger Games series at least once every 2 years, all the way
Just
through.
finished watching them all with my kids are grade 9 and 7, so we're like,
Yeah,
yeah, whatever, close
might as
enough.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's show
And
them
they
some culture. Yeah.
absolutely loved it, right? Like, how could you not
Yeah.
love that
It's
franchise?
ageless. It's ageless. It's
So good.
so good. And I think it has so many great undertones to it that can
Totally.
just apply to our real world. And I love it so much. What other shows do I love so much? I love Rick and Morty. I
I love
love
Rick and Morty. So good.
yeah, I love Modern Family. Like if we're going the comfort route,
Yeah.
I've probably watched the first season of Modern Family enough to where I can quote it. Like when I was like 14, living in my room, just only in my room, I would put on every single night. And I got to the point where like I knew episode 5, scene 3, and I would say all the lines. Like that was a little crazy of me. So I had to get outside. But
Yeah.
um I really love that show.
That's cool. How about we're talking comfort shows? Well, how about comfort music?
Music. Oh, okay. I can give you my comfort artist for
Yeah.
sure. Sufjan Stevens. I
Okay.
love him. And also, on the topic of music, I actually find a lot of inspiration for my story. I write poetry too. So for my poetry and the stories that I want to make one day through music. So I love Sufjan. I love Hosier. I love Leon Bridges, Frank Ocean. Like I think music and songs that I can feel almost in my soul, in my bones, that words are really important to me. And the way you weave words together is really important to me. It's why I love poetry so much. So those artists specifically, I think, do such a beautiful job at one, making their songs so specific and different, and also out of context. With if you take the music away, you have a story. Like you have a movie you can make,
Mhm.
or a
Mhm.
show you can create.
Like a good
And
song will do that. It
oh
tells the
yeah,
story.
a good song, I feel like you already have it here. Like it's like you're watching it. Like when you read, it's like you're watching it in your mind. You can put something together and like there's this one song from the Beatles called Eleanor Rigby. And
Right.
I don't even know if I should be saying this. Nobody steal my idea, but I really want to make a movie based around that song. I don't even know how to go about that. I'm like
Hmm.
20 years old, so I don't even know how to like start. But I wanted to talk to like my people because it's songs like that that just like invoke so much creativity. So I think those are my comfort people. Leon Bridges just will lull me to a different universe every time.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I was a huge fan of Harry Styles. I still am, but he's a comfort. Like One Direction, like old One Direction's a comfort, but I don't really listen to them as much anymore, sadly.
Hmm.
But yeah, those
Picks
people.
up the rice where the church in the church where the wedding had been, lives in a dream.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great idea. And
all
like
the
even
lonely
even
people.
something like a Hotel California, a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, right? Like
Yes,
you get that story. It's in your
yes.
head. It's beyond a
Hotel
song, right?
California. If you like Frank Ocean, he has an unreleased song called American Dream or American Wedding that is the same tune to Hotel California. He can't release it because of that, but it's Hotel California is so beautiful and American Wedding has the same thing to it because it's the same type of melody, the same chords, but different words, and it paints a different picture and it paints LA, it paints like an LA picture, but it's so like oh God, the money I would pay to like watch somebody create a story based off of those songs, like I just feel like it'd be so beautiful. So I would definitely, if you like Hotel California, I would go listen to
Uh,
American Wedding on SoundCloud.
like Loki. I will do that after this. Yeah. And so what are your parents playing then around the house to kind of get you
Oh
into
my God.
the
My
music thing?
mom, my mom, my dad actually, okay, so my grandparents, because they live with me. So I grew up with a lot of like old songs. So like one of them that I love so much is Teen Angel, which is like super sad, but such a beautiful song.
For like the
And
50s, you mean
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. They
yeah,
play a
yeah,
lot of
okay.
old ones.
Yeah.
My abuela played a lot of Elvis Presley and like they just played a lot of gosh, what's her name? It's like a girl group, but they did like Be My Baby. They did a bunch of other ones like Lovers. I can't even tell you because it's like if it comes on, I know all the words,
Well,
but like I don't
maybe it's like Gladys Knight.
maybe there's a
Maybe.
girl group though. There's like three of them. Um I'm not exactly sure though.
Hmm.
So maybe I'm just should not be talking on it if I don't even have the facts right. So I'll just move on
Like
to my
I liked
parents.
it. I liked the song. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
love the song. But my mom actually gets a lot of inspiration from like me. And then she'll like go to like my mom is so cute. Her music taste is like if she goes to like a restaurant and it's like they're playing music specifically tailored to her
Yeah.
like in her genre and so she'll pick it from there and be like have you heard this and it like came out like 6 years ago and I'm like yes
Like
I've heard that
yeah,
song
got that.
yeah I've
It's
heard that
cool
one
when you can start to influence your parents. Like
yeah
my kids now are starting to bring bands to me and like I worked in radio for 20 years here in Vancouver and like
yeah
I'm a music straight spaz, right? But when they bring me stuff, I'm like, man, that's so cool to have influenced by my kids. Like,
yeah it's a music bridges generations like my dad
yeah,
he plays a lot of like Luther Vandross and like he brought a lot of that inspiration and he's from Ohio or is he from Ohio yeah Cincinnati Ohio yeah
okay.
I was about to sound crazy but
And
yeah he's from
your
Ohio
dad is David Justice, right?
he is
Ball player, well, like one of the fucking best to ever play
yes
ball.
Hall
Like
of Fame yes
couple, yeah, Hall of Fame,
yeah
couple World
yeah
Series, and like, yeah,
yeah
played the, yeah.
and I can say that I influence his music style now
That that
he
is
I
so crazy to have. Like, what was that like having a famous dad as a kid?
I didn't even realize he like had it like that until we went to because we lived in San Diego and I've only really one time seen somebody notice him and tell him like, "Hey, I named my dog after you." And I was like, "You named your dog after my father? Like
Like,
why?" Like,
what a weirdo!
I was like,
You're
that's
weird.
really odd. Do you know him? Like, but it was when we went to Atlanta for his spring trainings, and we would go to like Florida too for spring training, but Atlanta and then New York. Those are the two places because he played for the Yankees and the Braves,
Right.
where in New York, if we walked down the street and we went into like a cafe or like a bar, I was like, oh, I can't even walk through here because he keeps getting stopped. And so me and my mom would kind of skirt around and then in Atlanta it was like I mean, he's the man there. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah, the Braves, my
yeah, he's the
God.
man. So
Yeah.
I realized, okay, so you have people who really look up to you and really love you. And he grew up showing us all his old YouTube like video clips of him playing. So I knew he was good. And he told us the story of the bat that he broke from hitting it too hard, and it's actually hung in our house. So I know like
Oh,
the gravity he has, but I never experienced it firsthand growing up until I really went to Atlanta to film Finding Tony, the movie that I was in. And I filmed that in December of 2022, and I had to live there for a month with my dad. And he had like this crazy pool and like aura to him that I just had never seen. I was like, we ended up being like on the court at the Hawk. Is it the Hawks? I don't know.
yeah,
I I don't do sports. I don't listen. So I think it's I don't know, the team there.
yeah.
We were able to watch it courtside, which was so cool. And like they were taking pictures of us, and I was like, why? I'm not important. But I was like, oh, my dad.
Oh, right, I'm here with Dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Did
one
you
right
did you
here.
ever get
Yeah.
to like go and like hang out at the field, go to the dugout and stuff with him and all
Yeah,
that? Like,
there's
yeah,
pictures of
right.
me actually as a little girl in the dugout, and I have like my
Cute.
knee-high striped socks on, and I'm like eating a popsicle. I have no
Wow.
clue what's going on. I just knew I loved being on the field because I got to look up, and this is where my ego comes in as an actress. When I was on the field, I got to look up and see all these people up there. For me, I was on a stage, and I was seeing like these people watching me on like a stage. And so that was like that was really cool, and definitely I think I got that part of me from my dad of wanting to create. And I mean, every actor has ego to them. They have to. Like you've
Well,
got to love people,
you
love
gotta
your work.
believe in yourself. My
You've got
God.
to.
Otherwise
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah, you have to. So I definitely loved that part of it
Yeah.
by being with him, even if I didn't
What
know
a,
what it meant.
what a trip. But you're not a big sports person though.
No, I mean, I played every sport under the sun, as I'm sure you knew, and my whole family did too. And I was actually
Yeah.
really good at sports. I hate to toot my own horn. I'm pretty much an All-American, but it just never was what, like, I was never passionate to like go to softball practice. Like, I was like, and like I played soccer for a very long time. I loved soccer, played for like 12 years,
Mm.
but um, dance, like I realized the sports I chose were more in the arts. So like I loved dance and I danced my entire life. Um, and that's when I was like, okay, the sports, the powder puff, the softball, the volleyball, like I tried everything. The soccer, like it was fun, but it just wasn't. I saw the way my brothers took it seriously, and I was like, that just doesn't give me the drive that I get, or like the passion I get from when I instead am able to perform
Right.
or make a film or sing or dance. Like that's where I felt the most like me. So
Hmm.
yeah,
So,
definitely am a oddball.
well, now that you're in Spain, like, are you even, would you consider a role now? Like, if, I guess if it was a good enough role, but you're not actively looking for another role right
No,
now, are you?
I'm actively looking. I'm still auditioning.
You are. Oh,
Yeah, I think with acting everything's so inconsistent that I don't want to stop my life. Like I want to continue my life and get experiences, but everything kind of will always revolve around acting. So like I told my representatives when I came here, I was like, look, I am coming to Spain, but I'm not on a pause. I'm auditioning still, and if I get a role, I'll fly back and I will come back and I'll stop my study abroad year because this is all
I mean,
to
acting is your career, so you can't
yeah,
pause it.
acting is everything to me. Like it's my career, but it's also where I feel the most like myself, where I learn the most about myself, I think.
Yeah,
And this being here and having this amazing experience is definitely learning about myself and learning who I am outside of acting, which I love to do as well. But if I got that call that was like, hey, we want you for this, I'm going straight home. Like there's nothing that could get me to stay.
hmm, interesting. And
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on like superhero movies and stuff? Because like some people are like, nah, it's garbage, it's fucking eye candy,
So
it's not film, it's not cinema. Like, what do you think about that stuff? So
yeah,
much of
and
it.
anybody who knows me, I'm a huge Marvel geek.
Are you
Like
okay? Okay.
I I love Marvel. Me and my cousin Bella, that's like every time we got together growing up, we were watching the entire Marvel cinematic timeline in order of the timeline. We knew almost all the lines. I watched Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters 17 different times because I'm crazy. I love Marvel so much. I will say,
Oh, I love
I
your answer.
yeah, I've kind of fallen off of it a little bit because when it brought in the shows, it was a little hard for me to keep up with everything, but
Yeah, there's
it was
so much
still there's so
content.
much now and
Yeah,
it's still so great, but I would I mean if I they already casted Ironheart because and she was amazing. They casted her in Black Panther, but I had bought every single one of her comic books when I was like 14 and I wanted to be her so bad. So if they were ever to like do another one, like how they have done Spider-Man 3 times, I'd say hell yeah. But yeah, I love superhero movies. I just love anything that's written well. I don't have like anything. I'm like, no, I would never do that. If it's written well and I can tell like there's love in it, I love to do it.
how'd you get pulled into Marvel over DC with like DC? And I am a Marvel guy too, and I'm just
Yeah.
asking this just to ask. But
Yeah.
like, why Marvel, especially considering like there's Superman, there's Wonder Woman, Aquaman,
True.
like the
True.
Flash. These are like
True.
iconic characters.
Super iconic characters, super
Yeah.
great characters.
So why Marvel over DC?
I mean, I could give you like the real answer and then like I'll give you both answers. The real answer, I think a lot of people love DC because they're comic books. I've heard that the comic books are like a lot better than Marvel. I didn't really read all of the comic books. Like I don't know. See, like there's a reaction. Like I don't really read the DC comic books or the Marvel comic books. I think
Mm,
I just
mm.
got into Marvel first and the movies were so moving and I never felt that same connection when watching the DC movies. Some of them I did. Like I loved Wonder Woman. But I didn't feel like with Marvel they created such a world that almost every movie was like a hit. It was like a true
Yeah.
banger. I was like,
Like I think
okay,
it
like
was like once John Favreau did Iron Man, they were like, he's like, here's where it needs to be. And as
there's the
soon as
money,
Iron
there's
Man
the
came out, it was
audience.
like, boom.
There it is. And it just took off and it created this like also the again, I'm an actor, right? So like what I love so much other than watching films and television is I go online right afterwards and I look up the interviews. I look up the cast. How close are they? What's their chemistry? How did they study for this role? How did they learn? What's the process? And Marvel, all the actors, there was just so much media online about their closeness and their like how they transformed into Chris Hemsworth into Thor and Chris Evans into Captain America and like I was able to see their process and their development and I never really got into DC like that. I also think there was this time where my family we all used to do family movies and they wanted to watch the Justice League, which was like 3 hours long. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to watch it. Like I didn't agree. And it was not unanimous, but they decided to watch it anyways. And I was not allowed to leave. I was forced to sit on that ground of my parents' room for 3 hours to watch that movie. And I was so angry. And I was like 14, 15, and I did not want to watch that movie. I did not want to watch that movie. And I remember laying down and like praying to the gods it would end. And I think that traumatized me. I think I was like, I'm never watching any of this again. Like I can't. I can't. So
Yeah,
that's probably the trauma in there of just not wanting to watch DC. But
fair enough.
yeah,
And if you could have a superpower, which power would you want to
I've
have?
thought about this so much. And here
Yeah,
I
same.
am not giving you a straight answer because I'm gonna give you three. I want telekinesis,
Yes.
teleportation, and the ability to shapeshift. Because shapeshifting, I can get any superpower I basically want. Like if I want to fly, I'll shapeshift into a bird. Or if I want information, I'll shapeshift into a bug. If I want to go through walls, I'll be a cloud. Like I can pick whatever I want. So that's probably number one. Teleportation. I would love the gift of just being able to just snap my fingers and I can go home. Like I can
Wouldn't that
snap
be
my
so
fingers
good?
and
That's
I
the
can go
one I
visit my
always
friend.
picked.
Yeah,
I
back in
always loved
LA.
like Nightcrawler on X-Men. I was always like, man,
Yeah,
imagine how cool that would be if I could just like right now teleport
perfect.
and be with you instead of through this way. Like,
And it's perfect for what we do too, because Like you want to interview somebody in person and you can snap and you can be anywhere in the world. And I want to
Yeah.
like go work on a set, but then also be able to come back maybe to Madrid. Like I'll snap
Right.
my fingers and I'll
But
go
not want to get on a plane for 6 hours.
exactly.
Like,
No, I don't. I don't. Like I don't
yeah.
want to go to the airport. I don't want to have the airport air give me acne. Like I don't want any of that. So that would be the
Oh
best option
my God.
because it does. That airport air really builds.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna wrap this up. You're too funny. And two questions. So thank you
Okay.
again. I want to respect your time. I think I told your team that I'd be like 15, 20. We are like coming up on 40. So uh
Okay. Sorry,
I
I talk so much.
I want you to, it's not necessarily a question, but I want you to share with us a story where you could have died, like a near death moment.
Okay. I already have one. Let me just make sure that this is the one that I want to share. Because I feel like
Everybody has one, by the way. Like literally everybody. Almost
they
everybody.
have to.
Yeah.
They have to. I have one. I'll just go with this one. I'm a thrill seeker. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. Like I wouldn't really risk my life like that for the adrenaline rush because I care too much about my life. Like I just
What do you mean, like skydiving or
like I would love to do that. But like I love that like that feeling in your stomach when you drop on a roller coaster
oh
and it
yeah.
kind of like all reaches up to you and you feel like super alive.
Yeah.
I love anything that makes me feel like super alive. So there's this one time me and my cousins, my brothers, we wanted to go to this one spot that was kind of like a bridge jumping spot. And we had to climb through somebody's backyard, which I don't condone ever. I don't. But I was with my cousins. So we went through somebody's backyard. We had to go over train tracks and then we had to like the place was guarded off. So we had to climb around the gate, which was on like this like really small ledge and a big fall, and then you have to shimmy down a pipe to get to the part where you have to jump. And there's only military men there. So we get there. I jump from the first one. The first one is like 30 feet. I jump, I hit the water, and it's actually rushing waters. I didn't know that it was like rushing because from the top it didn't look that bad. Underneath, it just takes you. So you have to
Sure.
like really swim or else you're swept out to sea. So I'm swimming, and then I get this like sudden inspiration. I have to do the 50-foot drop. Like I just have to be that girl. Like I just gotta do it. My brother's like, yeah, you've got to do it. The military men are cheering me on. I'm like, okay, well, I can't back down now. I
Totally.
have to be cool.
Now I
So
have to do it.
I have to. So I jump from the 50-foot one. And after I fall about 30 feet, like the last one, and I'm still falling, I was like, oh, okay. So I hit the water and I immediately get pain. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to get out. So I get out. I'm barely making out. I'm like grabbing onto like a piece of mud in like the side. Somebody pulls me up and like my knuckles are bleeding, my feet are bleeding, and I lost my hearing. For like I felt like I was underwater for maybe like 5 to 6 hours. And the next day, I was just my whole body was just like sore, and my parents still don't know that I did that. So now they do, but statute of limitations, I feel that
Totally.
was
Like that
maybe the
happened
moment.
so long ago. It does now
Yeah, that
it's
wasn't
a moot
even, I
point.
was so young back then.
Wow.
So that was
Yeah,
probably
yeah, that'll do it.
it.
And I think this could be the easiest. Maybe it's the hardest, but can you pick, just nail it down to one career highlight?
Ooh, oh my God, wait. That is the hardest. Okay. One career highlight. Oh my God, this is really hard because I think I've worked with so many amazing people that I could like highlight. But then also there's moments that, you know what, I'm gonna highlight. I'm gonna be a really, really great granddaughter, and I'm gonna highlight the one with my abuela.
Mhm.
But I worked on One Day at a Time. I worked with Rita Moreno, who is iconic. I think everyone knows she's everything and more. And my abuela was really inspired by her because she was this Latina who came into the industry and really opened doors and changed so much and showed like she just has such a presence to her. And I was fortunately able to have my abuela come to set when I was filming One Day at a Time, and I was able to have them meet each other. And I told Rita, I was like, my abuela is such a huge fan, and this means so much to her. And
Uh-huh.
like they both got teary-eyed, and it was so beautiful. I was watching this interaction, and I was like, wow, I got to make that happen. And so in order for me to be selfless right now and seem like I'm like a really kind person, I'm gonna say that's my career highlight. was giving my grandma that experience because that's where it felt the most like it paid off, I
Oh,
think.
that's great. And that's like those are the moments where you're fighting it, like it's stuck right. Like,
Oh yeah, it's and I'm like in my hair and makeup and I'm like filming in like an hour. I'm like like trying so hard not to cry, but and my that's my best friend. So it
oh,
was really beautiful to do that.
that's amazing. That's a great answer.
Thank
You
you.
are Sophia on
I
Dexter
am
Original
Sophia.
Sin. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Congratulations. What a great
Thank you
role.
so
And thank you again for taking the time over in Spain to
much.
jump
Of
on the
course.
podcast here in Vancouver, Canada.
Thank you for
Uh,
talking to me.
where are you most active on social media? Like, where should we follow you?
Well, TikTok's been canceled, so I would say go to my Instagram. Go to Raquel Justice 01. I'm gonna start posting on YouTube, I think within the next 2 years, so don't even bother. So
Yeah.
Raquel Justice 01 Instagram, that's where I have most of my life, most of my work, most of the upcoming projects, and just me and my face. So if you like that, I would go there.
Raquel, you're
Thank you.
the best. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
great day, and we'll tag you when we're throwing this stuff around online.
Lovely. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It's
Nice to
amazing.
meet you. Great to connect.
Nice to meet you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.